For me, getting the record it's been something that I've thought about like a really long time.
I don't think I'm nervous, but I respect it, and I realize that it's not as easy as sea level.
Okay, I expect that it's gonna hurt a lot.
I mean, it would mean a lot to me personally because it'd be another sub 4-minute mile, and then it would be it'd be a validation of who I am as a runner.
Elevation races, the best and worst case scenarios collide because elevation miles are so hard.
Best case scenario, I think all 4 of us, Trip, Nick, Cruz, and I, will break 4 in the mile, and we will ride off into the sunset, and Joe will be super happy.
My biggest expectation is that it's really gonna hurt. I know that it will be very, very painful, so that's what I'm most prepared for.
No one is gonna give up easy. No one's gonna let their friend beat them. And it's gonna be a great race.
I think coming down from here, all of us are like, oh, it's gonna be so much easier because we've been at 9,000 feet and it's at half that. But I think 4,500 feet is still gonna hurt, so.
This is definitely a team journey. And so I think it's anyone's game right now. I think it's really gonna be a tight battle.
I'm about to have to take Aric one, so I'm taking
Yeah, I got a pretty good morning routine. Me and Laura normally battle for who's going to be first up and who's going to make the coffee for everyone in the morning. I think I've won that most of the time.
Every morning, I am either the first up or Morgan is the first up. We kind of go back and forth. So whoever gets up first is in charge of making the coffee.
Morning routine, I'm usually the second or third person awake in the house. Morgan usually beats Laura and I. Laura and I are roommates. We roll out of bed at between 7 and 7:15. I make toast, drink coffee with collagen, drink noon, and then I wait for all my other teammates to wake up and ask them how they slept, except for Corey, because she doesn't like to be asked how she slept. I learned that recently.
And I was like, yes, I will. I will. And then Hamlin ran. And he's like, Nick, I saw you playing a guitar outside yesterday. What are you playing?
I don't know. I don't know, maybe it's called Fuck You.
Speed workouts in Gunnison and Crested Butte actually feel pretty fun unless you have short recovery. So workouts up here are all about the timed recovery. If we have a lot of time, like 2 minutes, it feels super fun. It feels similar to working out in Boulder or sea level. But if you have probably less than 90 seconds, it starts to be a real problem.
So we throw a bit of race pace, mile pace, or faster in their legs. Kind of the last thing they do before we go to a race. Give them plenty of rest so it doesn't become something more than we want it to be. It's a moderate workout, but we're really spinning the legs pretty good.
They're fun. I mean, I love getting on the track and ripping it, so I've enjoyed the speed work. The tempo stuff, that's really hard up here though.
Speed workouts up here are fun. Anything over 600 meters like really starts to bite you while you're running. But running speed up here, you can really get going.
But in general, speed workouts feel like you're trying to breathe through a straw. So you feel good for like 150 meters if you're running a 300, and the last 150, it's just more and more darkness sets in, and then when you finish, all of a sudden everything catches up with you and you immediately have to go to your knees.
The post-workout, we come back to Danny. So we work out in the garage shed at Danny that they have retrofitted to become a weight room.
We lift 3 days a week. 2 of those days are heavier lifting, and then 1 day is a little bit lighter. I feel like the lifting that Joe has us do is really specific to us, and that's really helped me become a much stronger runner. Joe's really good about building a lift to target your weaknesses and help you strengthen those so that when you're running, everything's efficient. If you have anything that's hurting, he'll adjust the lift as needed.
It's always fun to just kind of unwind in the gym after a hard workout, do a little bit of mobility.
And then we usually have brunch down here at Danny, almost always. And either Annie has already made us brunch, which is incredibly nice, or Emma usually gets done first and comes in and fires something up, and whoever's ready comes in and helps. And then
Similar to dinner, we all sit around the table and joke around, and it's like, I feel like on the way to our workouts, we're always in a good mood, but you know, there's like tension, and then brunch is finally when we're like able to chill out and laugh and not worry about a workout for a few days.
To get fit. We come up here to, like I said, to train hard, and you know, Crested Butte, I think the town itself is at like 8,500 feet, and where we were staying, the house we were living in was up at 9,000 feet. I mean, every run up here is hard. There's no flat place, in my opinion, to run. So you just get really strong running like the hills and the trails, and again, training down in Gunnison, doing workouts at 7,700 feet. So when we come up here, I know that I'm gonna get really strong, and I'm gonna come down really fit and just ready to go. So.
I think it's just to do something that no one else does. No one comes to 9,000 feet to train, and it's gorgeous too. There's so many good places to run. So yeah, I think it's just to get away and to focus on training and to do things that other teams don't do.
Because it is hard. So, I mean, the suffering is kind of the reason we come up here. It's another stimulus you can add to your training. So if you're getting a little stale in training or don't feel like you've been able to make a jump, coming up to 9,000 feet and not being able to breathe on easy runs is a really good way to get better.
Training in CB to me makes me the happiest, best version of myself. Emotionally, it just makes me happy. I feel so at peace, and my most favorite trails are here, and my favorite places to run are here. My favorite people are here, but also my body just gets in this really great equilibrium. I feel like I'm the best version of myself when I'm here. Training is hard, but I feel like I can actually run faster up here than I sometimes can in Boulder. It works for me and it clicks, and I'm really glad that I've been able to train up here more and more over the last couple years.
Dinner routine here has pretty much been, there's two people who are partners who make dinner every night. Two people will do all the shopping and get the food for the next couple days or day or two, and then they'll make dinner for the group. So we've made dinner at home almost every night. I think we've eaten here at Danny maybe 4 or 5 times, and then we got pizza I think once.
We got our steak, asparagus, potatoes, and a tomato salad, which I already ate.
And everyone made what they like as well as what they think they're good at cooking. So every night it was new and different. And then, we would sit down and kind of have a family meal together.
Shout out Commonwealth Eater, shout out Commonwealth.
Every night it's something different. I'm really spoiled. When I'm up here, I eat a lot, and I eat a lot of good food. Training at 9,000 feet, you really need to eat more calories than you would training in Boulder at 5,500 feet.
Corey and I have made some exquisite meals for the house. Not my words, that's what they've told me. But it's so nice every night just to have a couple of people cooking for everyone, and then we all come together and just just hang out and have dinner for an hour. So it's so fun. All right.
That's not a character, that's just a person.
The best chef. I've been asked this before and I don't know, honestly.
I really enjoy Emma's cooking. I think she just knows what she's doing in the kitchen.
But I'd say probably Emma or Aisha.
I think Aisha is really good at coming up with recipes like off the top of her head. She doesn't use a recipe for some of her stuff.
I think I'm the best cook. I think Emma and I are tied as best cook on the team.
Well, I think we all actually are quite good cooks. I don't know of anyone on the team who's a bad cook. Aisha can cook a really excellent miso rice bowl that I think is hands down like everyone's favorite dish on the team.
Okay, I feel like Emma is an amazing cook, but I also would say Aisha.
Emma is a fabulous cook and baker. Trip is sneaky, very good at cooking because I live with Trip and he can cook a million different meals and he's super creative.
Probably Corey or I. Another day on the grill. That's about done.
We have just left Crested Butte, our home for the last 5 weeks, situated at 9,000 feet in the mountains, and we are driving to Grand Junction, where the Team Boss Colorado Mile will take place on Saturday, June 27th, in hopes of breaking the state mile records. And it's a beautiful drive, about 2.5 hours, and we're just cruising along. And most of the drive takes place along the Blue Mesa Reservoir, the largest body of water in Colorado. It's a really cool drive. I don't think many of the people on the team have been over in this part of the state, so kind of cool for them to see a little bit different area of their state, so they don't get out of the Front Range very often. So to put on this race, the last few months I've just sent out email after email, and anyone who had a track or anyone who I know someone who has a track or has put on a meet or an event in their lives, I've emailed asking for permission to use their facility, or asking for permission, asking for their help to put on a race for our team. And everyone was very helpful, but nothing ever came of that until the coaches at Colorado Mesa contacted me and said, we have a brand new facility, brand new track. We're really excited about this. We want to help you. And so between them and the officials at Colorado Mesa and the health officials in Grand Junction, we were able to get it approved. And I think have something that's a pretty cool setup. Some family and friends there on the track, live stream, all that stuff. And so while it's challenging and there's a lot of hoops to jump through, way more than normal, we feel like this is we're doing the right thing here, and we're gonna have a great meet, a great race, some entertainment, and giving our athletes an opportunity to get back out there and get their name and face out there.
Get the Colorado State Mile record for me would feel super special. I am a Colorado girl, born and raised, went to the University of Colorado. I feel such a connection to the state, obviously. I had the record in 2018 for about 2 weeks. So I briefly held that title, and it felt special when it happened. And as long as someone in our group gets it, that's great, and it'll be a fun day, but I hope it's me.
And then I think it wasn't until I got into college at UW when I realized that no one had broken 4 in Colorado. And I think most people, when they hear that, are pretty surprised that it's never happened. And ever since then, so it's been almost 10 years now, I've been wanting to take a shot at it. But I think the hardest part is actually getting into a race and getting into a well-paced race. So for me, it would mean a lot because I've been thinking about it for over 10 years now.
If I don't get the mile record, I'm not going to be devastated because that means one of my other teammates got the mile record. This is definitely a race and I want to beat them, but if Emma gets it, I'm going to be pretty happy for her. That's just the way it goes on this team.
On the men, the conditions right before their race started to really deteriorate. It was windy for the women as well, but it just kept getting worse, and there was a good amount of dust in the air.
Yeah, I was trying to not think about it, but in reality, it got a lot harder. I kept thinking that we were gonna get the ideal scenario where we get a nice rain cloud over the race and then it clears out right before the race and it's no wind and it's just cooled down. I kept wanting that scenario to play out, but then as we got closer and closer to the race and like the women went off, I realized that the cloud that had inevitably parked itself over the race was not gonna move.
We stepped on the line, like when they called us up to the line and I felt it just like blowing constant into our face. I was like, fuck, it's probably like decently windy.
It's just a power of the mind, I guess, and a little bit of just getting out there and gritting it.
We were standing on the start line, getting the instructions from the starter, and there was just this huge gust of wind coming straight into our faces on the home straight, and I was just like, that's not a good thing. But yeah, you know, we had a race. I threw up a lot after it, which was the first time I've ever thrown up after a race. So that wasn't very fun. But yeah, no, after it, I was happy. I was pretty content with how everything played out in the end.
So not quite there, although I applaud them for their effort. They really put everything they had into it. Almost everyone was on their hands and knees puking after the race. In those conditions, it's worth a handful of seconds.
It was certainly a very unique event because of that, having such a small crowd and everything, and just 2 races and just like a pretty simple goal for both the race. Like that's not something you see too often, to be honest. So that was really cool to be a part of something like that.
The event was pretty much exactly how I thought it would go. It was pretty much perfect. It was basically the ideal setup. The track was perfect. The track was amazing. The guys at Colorado Mesa who set it up were super accommodating. Everything was done like just for us. All in all, like it was really the perfect setup, the perfect event.
Yeah, I didn't notice that the wind was picking up until I did my strides. And so the whole warm up and our drills and everything, I honestly was in such a good mindset. Like I felt really calm, and I kept I guess being a little bit surprised by how quickly those hours had passed by. Like I remember looking and realizing we had 20 minutes before we were gonna start, and that surprised me.
As we started warming up, we went for a 20-minute jog. I noticed how dry it felt. My mouth was super dry, which it hadn't felt like that the day before.
When we first got there, it was perfect. It was so nice. But yeah, then as we were warming up, the wind started to pick up and clouds started rolling in, and even though the environment was still great and we were still really excited, it kind of turned into, okay, let's stay as calm as possible and ignore the elements and, you know, eyes on the prize, so to speak.
The final instructions from Joe as we started our warm-up was that we've trained well, we're ready, this is happening, and to make it count. The race went pretty well, and the first 2 laps, the whole purpose was to just stay super relaxed, trust that Laura would get us, you know, close to our pace, and so I knew I was just going to go straight to the back and relax. At 900 meters, we came through 800 slow. Joe was yelling at us that we were slow. I knew we were slow. And at 900 meters, Laura went off a little bit, and Dom was supposed to kind of take the next charge, and we hadn't shifted gears yet that we needed to. So Corey yelled, "Go, Dom!"
At that point, I saw out of the corner of my eye Aisha on my right shoulder, and that kind of, as I told her, felt like permission almost to go to the front. And so at about a K in, I went around the 3 girls who had helped set the pace.
Corey just started charging away, and she was looking strong. We've done enough workouts together that I know what Corey's body looks like when she's having a good day, and I know what it looks like when she's having a bad day, and I was sitting behind her and I could tell she was having a good day.
from there, I just tried to not look back. So I started to just focus on running faster every 100 meters. And I think probably with 200 to go, I felt super confident, and I thought, you know, I had no idea where anyone else was in the race. And I don't know what I could have done differently to win, but I definitely think that in order to run the record, I had to do what I did and go at 600 to go.
I think just watching the women race, I think that last 500 meters when 4 of them broke away, and they were just challenging each other. I think they were pushing each other, and while they all wanted to run fast, they all wanted to win as well. So seeing that competition, going into that last lap, the last 200, and then Emma and Corey, that last 100, they were really battling. And so I think they really just gave it their all. I think they really put themselves out there and put in a really hard effort, and not only from, you know, to try to chase a record and put on a show for the few spectators that were there, but also just for themselves, to get out there and remember that they can hurt and they can run hard. Unfortunately, our perfect day had about an hour and a half there where it was less than ideal, and honestly it was quite challenging. But it's rare to have a perfect day for a track meet, and I applaud our athletes for giving it their all, putting in the effort, and either getting the record on the women or just coming up a touch short on the men. That's a heck of an effort. Yeah, I think it was just a wonderful opportunity for our athletes to have a race and a hard effort, and I think combining that with the fundraising efforts for the Sachs Foundation made it extra special for us. It's something that our team got behind. It gave us purpose, and it gave us meaning to our training the last month. I think being able to be a part of the community in Colorado, while yes, we go and train in the mountains and we have a good time and our job involves running around in circles, I think being able to use the resources that we have to help others is especially important, and I think we've found a good model for us to do something like this again in the future. I think the team really enjoyed having something more than just them talking about themselves for this race, and ultimately it was a huge success. Not only being able to race during this challenging environment, but also being able to do something that supports our community, that we believe will make our community better in the future, is something that we're especially proud of.